Yeah, I think scoring, made a true scorer like National Cup. That's fucking awesome. Alright, well you, yeah, I'll stay in touch with you. Okay. Thanks, brother. See ya. So if you want to go ahead and put on your headset, we'll do some level checks. And then this is your volume knob for each other. Okay. Let's go ahead and start pretending like you're talking. Yeah, hey, you know, it's a wonderful day here. Yeah, no, it's a great day to be here. No, this is good. Perfect. Yep, no, I'll keep talking to myself. That keeps it easy. Do I need to turn my mic at all? Everything good? Doo-doo-doo. Luke Osborne, Will Scahan, John Whipple, Jack Parsons, Cam Hendrickson, Christian Epperson, Will Zellers, Trevor Conley, Camille Bednarik, Cole McKinney, AJ Spalasi, Mason Moe, Ben Cavon, Aiden Park, LJ Mooney. Spalacy? AJ Spalacy.
Well, it's a great day here at Ritter Arena, and we're here testing the microphones, and we're watching out for flying pucks. And those flying pucks, that's not to be confused with flying ducks. Those are completely different things. And so are Zambonis. Oh, here he comes.
I've been replaced.
We're doing a headset check. You want to check the level between you guys?
Hello, hello, hello.
How we doing, sir?
Great, great. Great to have you alongside today for exciting action between Finland and USA Blue.
What a matchup.
We even wore your blue for the U.S. Very good. Do you have a white jacket for the second game?
That would have been nice. I could have absolutely made it a quick change and totally fit in. Are we biased today? Are we a little USA biased, or are we staying in the middle? Hard to stay on.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll get a little excited when we score, right?
Yeah, look at where we are here. Come on. This isn't Helsinki.
I was going to say, this isn't Helsinki. This isn't Kalpa. We're good. Oh. How long have you been doing this?
Look at the color of this hair.
No, I think it's one of the coolest jobs ever, to be honest. Go watch all these games, and sweet.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Like I always thought that Al Michaels had like the coolest life ever. He just gets to sit front row and like he's sitting on the couch, just talk about sports. Oh. Minute 10. There's actually quite a few guys that were on the team last year.
There's, I think, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are you a Dion guy?
guest visiting Ritter Arena assumes any and all risks relating to the game of hockey, including but not limited to the risk of being injured by a flying puck, and agrees that arena league, university employees, and participating clubs and players are in no way liable for injuries resulting from such cases. And by attending this event, waives any claim against any of them. During today's game, please remember to avoid leaning or climbing on the glass around the ring. For the safety of the players and to avoid delays in the game, please do not throw objects of any kind on the glass. Violators are subject to immediate ejection. We'd also like to remind our fans that for the safety of the players, the use of flash photography is strictly prohibited. No flash photography. Thank you for your cooperation in helping to create a safe atmosphere. Finally, if at any point during today's game you're in need of emergency services, please cite the usher or security representative in your area, or visit the first aid station behind Section 2. Hey fans, swing by the World Junior Championship booth located in Section 2 and secure your seat at the 2026 World Juniors. The first 100 World Juniors tickets sold here at the Summer Showcase. Each come with a limited WJC hat. From USA versus Canada to the fiercest international rivalries, this tournament is where the next generation of NHL superstars battle for gold and glory. Don't miss your chance to be a part of history.
is a chance for the coaches to evaluate the talent that they have assembled to see who will represent their respective countries when the puck drops on the World Junior Championship December 26th at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul and at Mariucci Arena here in Minneapolis. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Rich, and we're joined by Packy Munson, who joins us this afternoon as our color analyst. He's a former goaltender with the University of Vermont Catamounts and also the Denver Pioneers, where he was able to hoist some hardware back in the day.
Yeah, was lucky to be a part of a pretty special team there and play for some really great coaches, Dave Carl, Jim Montgomery. So, yeah, awesome to be here. Some awesome hockey players. Excited to do it with you.
All right, this afternoon, Finland comes in off a loss as they lost their opener last night 5-2 to USA White. Meanwhile, USA Blue was beaten last night by Sweden by the same 5-2 score. So an interesting dynamic. Obviously, the results don't mean a lot here, but it's important to get that winning feeling, correct?
Yeah, I think just for the confidence of the group heading into, obviously, the World Juniors, it's good to kind of have that, I guess not always having that chip on your shoulder, but that confidence knowing you can, take on the world's best. And Finland and Sweden are consistently the two of the 4 or 5 best teams in the world.
Yeah, you look at the United States and how they've divided up their roster, and they're looking to put players, Bob Motzko said, in high leverage situations. He wants to see how they handle certain situations. So when you watch these games, you may say, well, gee, why isn't the top line out there at the first crack of this power play? Or why is so-and-so killing a penalty right now? And it's because they need to see that dynamic of what you're looking for when you get into that tournament, because these players are all top line guys. They're all top D defensemen on their home teams, but here they're asked to do other jobs, so you want to see them in those situations.
Yeah, I think this, underrated part of this whole process is building a team, right? Not just a team full of scorers or, just a high-flying skill team. It's the guys like the Adam Klebers, Will Skahans that are, elite penalty killers that, play a strong 200-foot game. And I think for the U.S., they got a lot of good options here to build a really deep team.
All right, we are getting set to go with the game here this afternoon. And in the nets for Finland is Patrick Kirkala. He'll get the start for Finland. Meanwhile, at the other end, Cam Hendrickson will start the game as the United States continues to rotate the goaltenders in these tournament games. U.S. has brought 5 goaltenders here. Hendrickson and Jack Parsons will play in this game. Parsons was very good last night in his portion of the game against Sweden. Hendrickson ended up taking the loss, if we had to pin the loss on somebody in that Sweden game, but he too has been a great goaltender, comes from Chanhassen, currently finished up his year at Waterloo last year, the USHL, and now is headed to UConn this spring. Here's the United States with a chance, and Kevon fires that wide, it deflects off the glass and goes out of play. But for the goaltenders, the United States, they've got to find a new netminder since Trey Augustine has aged out. How would you look at this? You're being a former goaltender. How would you look at what you'd want to see out of the goaltenders if you were a coach evaluating here in this tournament?
Yeah, I think I would, there's not a guy that has that college experience yet, but you can kind of see the track record of some of these guys and how they've played in big games. And, a guy like Hendrickson has been a guy that's always stepped up in big games. So that's obviously something you look for, and really good young goaltending group for U.S. We'll see what they choose.
The puck at center, but Narek after it. Conley, he had a big game last night, picked up an assist in that setback to Sweden. Puck coming through center and rolled in from there. USA back to retrieve. Skahan gets it out to center off a Mooney skate. LJ Mooney was very impressive in his debut for Team USA as he had a goal and an assist last night. He's headed to the University of Minnesota. Right across the street, he'll be playing at Mariucci. Now Bednarik with the steal all by himself, takes it in behind, waiting for teammates to join as USA was on the line change. Puck fed back to the point. Whipple throws it towards the net, didn't get through. Zellers picks it up in the corner. Zellers now leaves it there, and the Finns jump on it, and they'll skate it back out to center.
You can see early on both teams very steady in their forecheck and basically, almost trapping it up in the neutral zone, making it really hard to get anything off the rush.
Centering pass, tipped right in front, and fanning on that chance was Pukunarin, who was right in front, bouncing puck, and he swung and missed. Now a long shot from the point. Hendrickson makes his first save of the afternoon, a stick save, delayed penalty coming up on the United States. So they'll be shorthanded here as Hendrickson grabs the puck, holds on, and we get a cross-checking penalty against Team USA, so the Finns will go to the power play.
Yeah, kind of interesting call early in the game, battle in front of the net. Didn't really seem to have a huge impact on the play, but nevertheless, we'll see what Cam Hendrickson and this PK can do.
So the penalty is on Henry Brushevitz. He'll sit for 2. And Team USA Blue yesterday was able to kill off all 3 of the penalties against them as Sweden had 6 minutes of power play time in that game. Now the Finns working the perimeter, trying to get it out front. That was blocked, comes back to the point. Moving in, now dishing off. Two-way cross, what a pass and a shot by Koivu. Antos Koivu on the weak side hammers home the one-timer, and the Finns cash in quickly on the power play, just 25 seconds.
That could be the one problem when you pressure up top on the penalty kill. If it gets out of sorts pretty quick there, when a fall there accidentally opens up a lot of things, especially east-west, and not much there for Hendrickson to do on that one, having to, stay honest on the shooter.
So just 2:29 into the game, a power play goal. And Koivu gets his first of the tournament. And yes, he is related to Mikko and Saku. That's Saku's son out there. And I think he's drafted by Montreal as well.
He's a Montreal third-round pick, yep. Koivu, Saku's his dad.
Right, talk about walking into a difficult place, because Saku was so loved in Montreal and did so many great things for him. It's going to be an interesting run, but so far, Antos looks like he's up to the task. He's having a great career, and he'll definitely be featured on this World Junior team coming here in December.
Yeah, being a young player in league over there in Finland, for him to have any success at all last year as a young player is really impressive, and he's going to continue to grow, and Montreal's going to let him take his time. But yeah, being Saku's son definitely is going to help.
Face off in the U.S. zone. Shots 2-0 in favor of Finland, the one coming on the power play. Actually, both shots came on that power play. Centering pass comes through to the near side. Finns keeping it alive. Putting it down low. Rooting in. Had a big game yesterday. The Flyers draft pick number 28. Played it, lost it, but then it's brought right back in. And now Team USA gets it to the line, not out. Shot by Ruhonen. Deflects in behind, and then the puck was played by a high stick perhaps, or official lost sight, but either way we get a stoppage in play.
I think the thing with Finland that can always be challenging is they're a very patient team and very defensively structured, so getting down to them early, if the U.S. tries to get a little too aggressive, I think that can maybe cause some problems for the U.S. with some of the turnovers in the neutral zone if they don't take care of the puck.
Kettinen on the face-off, going against Bednarik. Finns again control the draw. Throws it towards the front. Hendrickson sticks that away. Saarelainen keeps it in the offensive zone. Now Saarelainen in the slot takes the shot. That was blocked by Mooney. Puck goes to the far side. Saarelainen gets it back to the point. Long bomb just misses on the glove side. Rebound controlled. Finland with good pressure here. Kettinen in the corner. Tuva plays it around to the far side. And Finland really taking it to the United States here early on. Another block by Conley. And he'll finally just get it out over the blue line, and the U.S. can change troops.
Yeah, U.S. looking really, almost on their heels a little bit to start the game, which, I don't know after yesterday if they expected or not, but this Finland team came out hard.
And they're right back in again. Carrying into the corner, Yoki tied up there, and Team USA comes away. I mean, it is a shorter turnaround. USA Blue played the late game last night, if you want to call it that, starting at 4:30 in the afternoon. And now they're back on the ice at 1. But I doubt with these young athletes that starting a couple hours early is really going to be that much of an advantage for the Finns since they played the early game.
Yeah, I got to imagine with just how well the United States team and even the Finland team, just how well they take care of themselves and how high-performing these athletes are, it's probably not too tough a turnaround.
Yeah, I don't think so. Now back the other way. Rossinen spins to get away from Whipple. Gets it to the line. Sorry shot. Knocked down. And now Team USA takes over. Zellers trying to get out of his own end. Retreats and then takes the headman pass. Comes across the blue line. Tries to take the shot. Was knocked off his stick just as he tried to tee it up. And the Finns take it away.
Young goaltender here for Finland, too, that we, haven't been able to test yet. But obviously, as this game comes along, it'll be very interesting to see how he handles it coming from just the U20 league.
He was good last night, made some good saves in there. Spellacy walks through, delayed penalty on the Finns, and now the United States gets a chance to counter as they will now go to the power play. And a big chance here for the U.S. to draw the equalizer. In last night's game, U.S., that's what really cost them against Sweden. They had 5 chances on the power play, including a minute or so of 5-on-3, and weren't able to cash in. And after all that time on the power play, it was still just 2-1. And the Swedes were pretty happy with themselves, really got a jump from all that penalty killing, and ended up tying it up and skating away with a victory.
I think as a player, more often than not, when you don't score on the power play, the demoralizing factor is even worse than just when you score a goal and how excited you are, right? It can be definitely an effect on the whole team.
Now Bednarik brings it in, but he had his pocket picked from behind, and the Finns are able to get it out to center. USA controls, turning in the center ice zone. Zellers slides it over to an open wing. Bednarik couldn't handle it there, and it's again shot all the way down. Conley swoops behind his own net, comes out the far side, now drops it back. Osborne had a big game last night for the United States, scored one of their 2 goals, and goes to the corner, and now a penalty coming up here. It looks like Osborne got his stick in there, and the official being very, very tight to the rule book this afternoon. We'll get our 3rd penalty, and that will take care of the U.S. power play, as it looks like a hook right here.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems a little soft here in this game. I guess right there he gets him up in the hands, but like I said, it's an event here. They want to let the guys play. You start making those calls early, then the line gets kind of blurred on what isn't and what is a power play.
So a minute 5 of 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 hockey here. Then the Finns will have a 55-second power play. They didn't need 55 seconds on the first power play. As Koivu cashed in to give his team a 1-0 lead. Finns win the draw, and they control. 4-on-4 hockey here. This shot deflected, goes over the glass off the netting, and will drop it off again.
You can kind of see early here with Finland, even 4-on-4 and 5-on-5, really trying to pull the U.S. defense up top and trying to create a little bit of high offense. And, right now I think the U.S. needs to kind of settle in and maybe, take care of their own job instead of trying to do 2 or 3 different jobs.
So what's the key there? What do you mean by trying to bring the defense out? What's the advantage there as Park carries in for the U.S.?
Well, I think a lot of defensive structure nowadays, everyone's trying to protect the front of the net. So being
Okay.
able to pull the puck up top, having 3 different attack angles from each side in the middle, you know, it can kind of get that, you know, dice look a little out of sorts, and a little bit of movement up top, create some really good downhill offensive.
All right, so how do you defend that then? Do you sit back or do you not chase? Or how do you get the Finns to be frustrated with that kind of attack?
Yeah, so a lot of what the coaching structure can be is you can do some sort of a zone, but a lot of teams actually go to a man-on-man up top. But the problem with man-on-man is when one guy gets beat, then everything's out of sorts, especially 5-on-5. So, you know, you see it a lot in the NHL, and obviously the college and junior levels are starting to adapt to that, trying to create that high offense.
Yeah, it's because you actually have some real estate, too, to work with. If you're down low, people are going to be right in your face. And when you're up top of the blue line, you do have some real estate here. That was an easy call, offside there at the line. But you see that so much, the defensemen walk in the blue line, and no one's structured at the point anymore. You have to have such great lateral skating skills now to really be effective with that kind of offense, correct?
Yeah, and you got to have the players, right? You know, that's also a high leverage situation for the guy with the puck. If you turn the puck over, it's a breakaway the other way. So it's, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to operate.
Another 20 seconds to go here on the 4-on-4 situations. Kleber carries in, the UMD defenseman gets it in deep. Big collision in behind. Kleber looked like he took the worst of it, but he's back up, trying to catch up to the play. That pass deflected, and Finland is now on the power play for 53 seconds. Already with 1 power play goal from Koivu. The Finns looking to add another one here as we approach halfway point of period 1. Tuva now comes up the far side, gains the blue line, feeds it across. Knocked away there. Now back to the point. Tuva tried to go on that top corner. He had room, but missed it as Hendrickson was down and would have had to really make a tremendous reach with that blocker to get that top corner covered. Now Koivu again, a one-time rocket. This time it's blocked, though, and didn't get through as Rushevitz got in front of it. Tuva with it again. Brings it back to the point. Long shot over the top of the net. USA Blue back at full strength. As out of the box is Osborne. Quick shot and a great save there as Hendrickson just got a piece of that shot right out in front. As Westerinen got a shot. Another sharp angle shot as Ruhonen tried Hendrickson from a sharp angle. And finally the U.S. captures the puck and gets it out of danger.
You can see right away the big difference between both power plays. USA having a really hard time entering off the rush, and, you know, Finland, quite frankly, walked right in both times and seemed to almost have a lot of time and space due to the U.S. passiveness, to be honest.
Yeah, there's so many ways to approach it, right? Some people, some countries attack right in your face, don't give you time. Others just want to keep it to the outside and just figure that, well, our goalie will make the save if you're always on the perimeter. So there's 2 dynamics, but especially when you see the chances here that Finland's generating from themselves, that box has got to be extended a little bit, correct?
Yeah, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your goaltender to make some pretty high leverage saves early and through screens. And, you know, Cam's made some big saves early on to give the U.S. a chance to stay in this game early.
10:22 to go here in the opening period. Shots are 5-1 in favor of the Finns. Of course, they've had a couple of power play opportunities. U.S. just a abbreviated manpower advantage. Long shot was blocked out front. U.S. still controlling. Sign gets it down low. Zellers tied up along the back wall. Park picks it up there. Trying to get it out front. It deflects off a leg and caroms to the near corner. And the Finns will take over there deep in their own zone. As Jokinen fires it up the far side. Good job there as Harrington eliminated his man on the far wall. And the U.S. is able to poke it out to center. Park gets it out. U.S. tries to change quickly. Long pass, misfires, and this is icing. So a good opportunity for the U.S. because they've basically just been working to get out of their own zone, and by the time they do that, they got to change.
Yeah.
And not really have a sustained attack to this point.
No, that Finland forecheck is relentless, sending two guys hard to the puck, and the transition game for the U.S. has to be a big part of their offense, so they're not able to get up and running right now.
Bednarik on the face-off. The Boston University Terrier, second-round pick of the New York Islanders. 40 games at BU last year, 2 goals, 17 assists. And before that, he played 2 years on the national team development program. 61 games there his last year, 26 goals, 39 assists, 65 points. Not bad.
That'll get you drafted.
That'll get you drafted. That's got the attention of the Islanders.
Yeah.
You are correct. Now, Sorry, who is a Minnesota Wild draft pick, number 14, feeds it across. Long shot, knocked down in front. Now here's Mooney. Mooney picking his way through center. Big center ice hit. Pukkanen lined up his man and caught Bednarik and stopped him in his tracks.
U.S. trying to make way too many plays in the neutral zone right now, and it's playing right into how Finland wants to play, which is stymie and get going north again. So the U.S. has to start getting the puck in deep and getting to work in that sense. Right now, another turnover there. It's not looking good for the U.S. right now.
The Blues had moments like this yesterday, too, some lapses. And, you know, to be fair, there's a lot of players that don't know each other and haven't spent time with each other. And you're going this way, and you think your centerman's going there, and he goes another direction. And so that's part of the feeling out process of these games. But Hendrickson really has been solid in this one as he caught that one up high and also caught the post and went out of play.
Well, it's kind of funny you see all these guys coming from different schools playing their different systems that, you know, your body is just used to playing a certain way and what you're used to doing for 40 games your college season. Now to come here and play with a bunch of different players with different habits and different skill sets, you're kind of learning on the fly, and it can be challenging at times.
We have a stoppage here. As you see, the shovel crew is out. There's no TV timeouts during these games, so they take the closest stoppage to the 10-minute mark. Well, there isn't a power play or shorthanded situation going on, and so that allows the crew to get some of the excess snow off the ice. Now, you being a goaltender, did you like that extra snow? Back in the day, there were stories of goaltenders who kind of built a little fort along the goal line. Were you of that school or not at all?
I don't think I was of that school. I think I wanted to get all the snow out of there as much as possible. So no, I always appreciate a good shovel job from the crew. That's for sure.
Did you ever talk to them when the
Oh, yeah.
shovel crew came out? Did you?
Oh yeah. As a goalie, you have so much time back there of just waiting, and so you know when a ref or a shovel guy comes by, you got to say hi and shoot it up a little bit.
Chop it up, as the kids say
Yeah,
nowadays.
you got to chop it up a little bit. It's good
All
to
right.
have those guys on your side.
That's true. They could be helpful. Any time a friend could come from anywhere to help out in a situation. Shots are still 5-1 in favor of Finland. Kleber now.
Let's play.
Plays it across to the near side. And Rushevitz gets it ahead. Spellacy trying to feed it in front. Bouncing puck. Spellacy got it through, but the shot did not, as Epperman tried to let it go. Epperson, rather. In the corner. Kevon knocks it around to the near side. Puck comes through. Kevon there to hold it in. Epperson helping out as well. Gets a stick on it. Tried to chop it in front. That's blocked. And now the Finns take over. Tuvo drops it back in his own zone, and the Finns will make a change. Coming across the line, Ruhonen on the near side. Westerinen had it, lost it, and now the U.S. will come back the other way. Through center, Mo carries across the line, drops it off. Long shot, didn't get through as Kevon's long wrist shot hit a leg out front. Finns come right back with Koivu. Carries to the corner, dumps it in behind. 5 players along the back wall trying to work it free. Mo in there for the United States. They still trying to work it free, and they do, bringing it back to the point. Nice move there, firing a shot. Hit the traffic in front. Puck comes back near the blue line. Pietila the drive. Blocker save by Hendrickson. Pietila didn't play in yesterday's game. He's one of about 4 players that the Finns have inserted into today's lineup that were not in the lineup yesterday. Meanwhile, USA Blue with the exact same lineup as yesterday. Once again, no Cole Iserman, the Boston University first-round pick, also of the New York Islanders. Won gold last year, and obviously he'll be a big force for the red, white, and blue. But GM John Van Beesbroek said yesterday that nicked up a little bit, so they know what they got with him, so he'll be on the shelf at least again for today. We'll see about Mr. Hudson if he plays in the second game. He was held out yesterday along with Max Plant of UMD. All 3 were members of last year's gold medal winning team.
Yeah, definitely a luxury for the U.S. to be able to kind of go on, as business goes, and good opportunity for some of these other guys to get a little more ice time and, really fight for a spot on this team.
Off the face-off, U.S. controls, and they'll come out through center. Mole feeds it ahead, across the line, passes behind Conley. He has to turn back for it. Now he'll send it into the corner. U.S. comes up with it. Back near the blue line. Mooney puts it in deep. Now Conley turning, trying to find some space. Back to the point. Osborne. A weak shot, rolls in behind.
Finland just doing a great job defensively. There's no space, there's no shooting lanes, and their willingness to block shots is really starting to, you can tell, frustrate the U.S. team.
Long shot saved by Hendrickson. Big rebound, stop that as well. And the U.S. comes back, under 5 to go in the first period. U.S. still looking for just their second shot of the game. Now Pukkanen and Conley having words at center ice. The linesmen have to separate them as the sticks came up, as the players are trying to get to their respective benches. Meanwhile, play goes on. Puck fed out to center, and the Finns take over there. 8-1 the shots in favor of Finland.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
No, last night's game obviously being a 5-2 score. I feel like that game was a little bit closer than the score, showed at the end of the game. But right now, Finland totally taking it to the U.S. team.
Epperson loses his helmet, so he's got to bail on that offensive chance and head to the bench. Finns send it all the way down. They waive the icing, ruling that apparently the U.S. could have played it. Don't know where, but we play on. Puck dumped out to center. Finns, though, bring it right back in. And finally, the U.S. clears it out.
Wow, they called that.
Yeah. They are calling a penalty on the U.S. as Kevon took his man down. And it looked like a bit of a frustration penalty. We'll have to look on the replay to see how exactly that transpired, but not a good penalty to take for the United States here with 3:46 to go.
Yeah, right away it looked like he was just on the forecheck, and they kind of got hooked up, and one guy fell and one guy didn't.
Oh, okay, so yeah, he didn't really do anything.
That was kind of an interesting call here. Refs getting involved early, which is kind of an interesting move.
Well, you've seen it before watching the World Juniors, that the officiating is different than how it's called in North America. And yesterday's games, what I would say were officiated North American style, if that's a term. They let them play. There was a lot of pushing and shoving, especially in the Sweden game, but nothing was really, they kind of let it go as long as it did get out of control, and the penalties were legit calls. Seems a little tighter today, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just kind of how their nation goes about their officiating program, where I think over in Europe, some of the leagues, it's, almost called like soccer, where, if there's a lot of flopping, there's a lot of, baiting for calls, and, I think in the U.S. that doesn't really go over too well. And, yesterday with how it was called compared to today, it seems like you can kind of bait the refs into getting a call, and that's never what you want to see.
No, that turns into a whole nother sport.
Right.
2:45 to go here in the opening period. USA shorthanded again. They've already killed off the first minute of this disadvantage. And it seems like they're much more aggressive. Apparently, they're listening to you.
Yeah.
They said, you know what, maybe we should step up a little bit on these guys.
Yeah, Steve Miller does not need to ever listen to me. I think he knows exactly what to do. But, no, it's good to see the U.S. kind of hold that offensive blue line and, make it a little bit harder for Finland to enter and set up.
The Finns do get across the blue line, but that was it, and they are sent back the other way and have to reload once again. Rassinen back to get it. 20 seconds left to go on the man advantage. Coming up through center. But again, the U.S. aggressive. Rutinen sends it across. Backhand attempt, never got to the net, and the U.S. takes it away and clears. Much better job on this penalty, as the Finns got nothing. 0 shots on goal on that 2-man advantage. As Kivon is back out, but then a drive to the net. Henriksen comes out, spears it off the stick, and the puck ends up in the corner. And the U.S. now regains possession. Under 90 to go here in this opening period. Bednarik at the blue line, had it poke checked off his stick by Sari. Still, he's able to retrieve it and send it in deep. Pietola plays it over to Sarin. And now the Finns will regroup, change the forward unit. And now they'll attack with 1 minute to go in the period. This pass, though, misfires, and that is an icing call. And so the U.S. will get an offensive zone draw here in the final 57.1.
You bake your head into the period in the intermission to see if we can get some shots on goal. What a play here by, I'll let you say the name. But no, that flying down the wing, really good, attack the net. Cam Hendrickson, great stick. We had to poke that away.
Well, that's what I thought you were going with.
Yeah,
I
love the way Hendrickson played it. He's aggressive and way to shut it down before he even gets to the net.
Face-off win against the U.S., so the Finns take control and they'll send it down ice. Kettinen after it, but Kleber separates him from the puck, and the big Bulldog defenseman will start out up the center of the ice. He is a big human being, isn't he?
Yeah, he just looks like a guy that's going to play 15 years in the NHL. Just so hard to play against, and really good breakout by him. That's going to be his bread and butter for this team.
Yeah, of course, he was on last year's team that won gold, second-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres. And had 2 goals, 3 assists in 33 games as a Bulldog last year. But he has an offensive side to his game, because when he was in the USHL, he was the top scoring defenseman for Lincoln when he was there. So it's that transition, right? Going from USHL to D1, it's another step. The game's a little quicker, and Kleber was obviously great defensively, but I think there's another level to his game that Scott Sandelin's hoping to see.
For sure. Even talking to their staff this year, just about how professional he is and his approach to the game. I think as a freshman in the NCHE, just being able to be an effective, impactful player on the defensive end every night is super impressive. So if he can take that step offensively in year 2, that'll be big for them.
Yeah, we're talking about his size. He's listed at 6'5", 210.
Yeah, him and Skahan. Oh.
Yeah, there is some size there. Turnover, Park with it. Takes a look. Fanned on his pass. And the Finns grab control of the puck as the first period comes to a conclusion. And the shots in that first period show Finland with the advantage, 8-2 through the opening period. So your overall thoughts of what you saw in that first 20 minutes?
Yeah, it kind of felt like the U.S. came out in more of a little feeling out process rather than on the attack. I think Finland right away just kind of started to assert the way it's wanted to play, which is, give nothing and really try and attack off the rush. And, yeah, Cam made some big saves to keep it 1-0, I felt.
No doubt, through 20 minutes, it is a 1-0 game, a power play goal. Koivu getting the only goal for Finland, and that's where we stand. So As they resurface the ice, we will take a break and we will join you for period 2. You're watching the World Junior Summer Showcase. Here's that goal by Koivu. Ripped a one-timer on the far side. You were right about how they were collapsed around the net, and they give Koivu a lot of real estate there.
Yep. If they're going to take away the middle of the net like that, they're going to have to at least take passing lanes away, because that's a really hard save for the goaltender in any situation.
All right, so how did the U.S. change their penalty kill? Because obviously it changed. The first one, it took them 25 seconds to score. The second one was a little chaotic. Third one was perfect, didn't give the Finns any shot. So what did the coaching staff change up in your mind?
I think the biggest thing, and it was kind of talked about in that first period, but just making it hard for them to enter. Right away, they were entering at ease, peeling back, setting up, and then obviously offensively they're coming downhill, and the U.S. was kind of a little passive, almost playing like a shot block mentality, but able to seam that pass across to Koivu, who ripped that home. I think the U.S. was able to maybe take a little more time and space away from the wingers coming downhill, gave a little more space up top, but that took away the bumper and took away that cross-ice seam and forced that guy to shoot pucks that end up missing the net.
All right, we're through 20. We have 2 more periods of this, and then later on tonight it'll be Sweden versus USA White, and that will all be coming your way here on USAHockey.tv. We'll take a break here, and we'll be back for period 2 in just a bit. Welcome back to Ritter Arena, period number 2, just about to get underway between USA Blue and Finland. The Finns lead this one 1-0 on a power play goal back in the first period. Koivu, his first of this summer showcase, coming at 2:29 of the opening period. Shots in that first period favored Finland 8-2 as they really took it to the United States territorially. So what do you see happening here as we get set for period number 2?
I'm excited to see how the U.S. adjusts, and even from the staff down to the players, having, in the first period really gotten to take it to them, only getting 2 shots, and I'm not even sure that second one was really a shot on goal. I think it'll be a big statement here if the U.S. can kind of come out in the first 5 minutes and, take it to them.
Penalty boxes are empty. There were 3 penalties in that first period. Finland, or rather 4 penalties total, 3 on the U.S., 1 on Finland. Icing called here. And the Finns were 1 for 3 with the extra man. United States 0 for 1. Spellacy at center of this line here for Team USA.
Yeah, last year Windsor Spitfires had a really good season, 37 points, 62 games, and third rounder Chicago. I think they're pretty happy with having such a 200-foot center that, can make a little difference at both ends of the ice.
And he turned down, I read, D1 football scholarship offers. He was a wide receiver and a safety, and decided hockey was the way to go. Being from Ohio, no surprise, everybody plays football there. But he elected to go that route, and part of his reason, as Spellacy on cue came out and had the opportunity on the back end, was that his cousin Aiden played at St. Cloud State and was a hockey guy. And so he decided to go that way. But his dad played football and his mom ran track, so a lot of athletic genes in that Spellacy clan.
Well, you could see it there in that shift alone, just his pace and his physicality around the net, taking the puck far post. He's a good specimen. You can see why Chicago could see that kind of projection of him becoming a middle 6 center in the NHL.
Conley, a great feed, sent it right across, and Skahan right on the doorstep. He's mad at himself that he didn't get a better opportunity, but a beautiful pass by Conley, and they both talking about it after the fact.
Finland goalie got over there really well, sealed his post, sealed that short side. As a lefty there, Skahan didn't have much.
Kirkala in here for the second period. Hendrickson in for the U.S. He started the game, and more than likely we'll see halfway through the game that Jake Parsons will take over as they split the goaltending here. Finns come out to center, get it across the line. Long shot, blocker saved by Hendricks. Rebound, dumped in beat by Nukarari. Conley plays it in, heads off on the line change. And this USA Blue squad is really only playing 3 lines due to the numbers and injuries that the United States has with some of their players. There's only 1 spare forward and 3 lines. So that may be part of what's going on, perhaps, with this group, that they're asked to do quite a bit of the heavy lifting here with just 3 lines.
Yeah, I just think, especially at the pace this is being played at, you can definitely see
Yes.
as the game wears on and the week wears on, you can definitely see that affecting the team a little bit.
And, they're not just out there for a skate. These guys are ripping up and down the rink. Whipple behind his own net. The Gopher defenseman clears it down into the Finnish zone.
Yeah, you can see some NHL games, game 44, where it's, kind of slow structure, where this game is Finland's getting them right in the mouth, and, the U.S. has to answer with a lot of its skating.
That shot sails over the top of the net, cleared around to the far side. Zellers tries to chip it out, but was unsuccessful. Finns dump it in deep. Pietila picks it up in the near corner. Spun off the puck, and Park is able to chop it out to neutral. But the Finns pick it up right there and come right back on the attack.
U.S.
So-
again having a tough time. Just getting north and some sort of structure with, 2-3 guys kind of going the same direction. It's a little sloppy right now getting out of the zone. It's leading to, that looks like another opportunity for the Finns.
Ooh, long bomb deflected, and Hendrickson did a nice job getting the pad down low to make that save, or the Finns would have been up by a pair. Now Park gets it down low. Bruszewski trying to get it out front, lost an edge. Now a shot and a goal from a sharp angle coming out from behind, and the United States has tied it on a wicked shot by Cole McKinney.
Yeah, kind of made something out of nothing there. Kind of blew a tire behind the net, and Henry made a really nice pass there to McKinney. And, yeah, goalie was already down, set in his reverse, and great shot there by Cole. Yeah, they gave him a lot of space there right below the dots, and he just cut in and fired one, and I think he caught the goalie sleeping a little bit.
So the San Jose Sharks draft pick, University of Michigan commit, gets the U.S. on the board.
Good bloodline there for the McKinney family. Younger brother, Oliver, is a stud young player in the Mission organization where him and his brother have both excelled.
.355 time of the tying goal. So we'll see if this puts more of a jump into the Americans here. As you said, they weathered the storm in that first period, and maybe something like that will run through the bench and get the goalie charging here.
Yeah, I think just for the U.S. being in a tie game against Finland, when Finland's up, like I said, they sit back and they'll pressure the blue line, make you really work to get in the offensive zone. Now in a tie game, kind of makes Finland kind of push for offense a little more and can make a little more space for the U.S. to capitalize on the turnovers.
Bruszewski and Park get the assists on that game-tying goal. Now puck out at center. U.S., though, pushes the Finns back into their own zone.
Going back to them, a goal by McKinney, like that's the first time the U.S. it almost seems like has held possession in a comfortable spot behind the net there. And, you give this U.S. team with the sticks they have any time and space, they can make it pay.
Well, and that may be to help the United States, as we were talking about the three lines and just one spare forward, is to have those defensemen activate. Bruszewski was way in deep, took it all the way to the goal line, and caused enough havoc down there that the Finns lost where McKinney was.
Well, I think too many times in that first period, the U.S. gave up possession of the puck way too easily in the offensive zone and almost seemed to be disorganized what they were trying to accomplish. And I think they're just a little glimpse of being able to hold on to the puck a little bit longer and let our best players operate.
Picking an iron, dumps it in deep. Yoki picks it up in the corner. He's spun around and dropped to the ice by Bednarik. That shot hit traffic, pinballs around, goes back to the corner. Yoki picks it up there, trying to get it out front, but Park pushes it ahead. And now the U.S. comes on 3-on-3. They'll dump it into the corner. Park, first man there to it, gets shoved to the ice, plays it around to the far side. Bednarik waiting for it, puts it back in behind. Park drops it off. Zeller's shot was blocked. And now the Finns take over deep in their own zone with 14-12 to go here in the second period. Yoki comes across the line, and it'll dump it in deep as his teammates head off on a line change. Kleber back to get it for the U.S. Kleber now gets across the line, drops it off. Park, wrist shot right on. The save is made. Rebound comes back to the point, and now we get a whistle as the net was dislodged, or perhaps a U.S. player in the crease. But either way, we get a whistle and a stoppage with 13:52 to go here in the second.
Yeah, that was Kleber starting the rush, driving the middle of the net, getting to the net. Obviously got bumped and, caused the whistle to get out of the zone. But good to see the USD becoming a little more active, and you can see the shot total already getting up to 8 from 2 out of the first period. It's a really good start for the U.S. here in the first 6 minutes.
Shots 6-2 in favor of Team USA in this second period to this point. And off the draw, Harrington sends it right back in. U.S. taking over at their own zone. Epperson across the line, cuts to the middle, has room. Now takes a shot, looking for the tip out front as McKinney drove right to the net. But Kirkala was able to make the save and push the rebound aside. Epperson has it go right through him, and the U.S. has to regroup. Now they'll flip it right back in. Much better jump we're seeing here by the Americans.
For sure, and sometimes the shot totals can be a little bit misconceiving, where a lot of empty, perimeter shots that really don't produce much chances. But the U.S. are getting inside the dots right now, and here's another chance.
Right there on the doorstep, banging away at it. The official loses sight of the puck, so he blows the play dead. But U.S. forwards being much more aggressive, driving right to the net.
A really good spot there by Caven, just to be right on top of the crease, getting there, jam one in. They don't really ask how in this league, and they never have. So I think good for the U.S. to, not be so perimeter and trying to get too cute, but just get into the paint and, try to jam one in.
Face off coming up to the right of Kirkala. Mason Moe on the draw, who's headed to the University of Minnesota, wins it. Long shot, hits a leg, goes to the corner. U.S. though, E.J. Emery got to it, but then it came out into the neutral zone. And so we'll have a stoppage.
Let's see a couple future Gophers getting a little bit of run together here with Mason Moe and L.J. Mooney. Obviously, L.J. had a really good game yesterday. Hopefully he can kind of produce a little more of a spark here in the second half of the game.
Yeah, Mason Moe, a third-round pick of the New Jersey Devils. And was at the Madison Caps. You speak of playing with future teammates. He's also playing with a current teammate, because last year he played with Riker Lee on the Capitals.
Riker Lee's been one of my favorite players since I saw him at 15 years old. He had 11 scoring chances on the PK alone. I'd never seen that before, and that kid is a freak with the puck on his stick.
Now in the corner, Moe knocked down. Of course, Lee is on USA White, not here on this squad. Sure, Mason Moe was a little disappointed at that, because they were a great combination at Madison in the USHL with the Capitals.
I think Mason Moe's development's been kind of interesting. I think, even talking to the Gopher staff early in the year, they didn't really know what he was going to be at the college level, and the jump he took was pretty impressive offensively.
Quick shot right on, and Hendrickson in good position there to make the save, and Ante Yoki looks at the ceiling going like, God, I really just shot that right into him, didn't I?
Hey, as a goalie, those are nice every once in a while, you just suck it in and everyone thinks it was a great save. It's kind of nice.
See, we're getting that perspective.
Yeah,
that is what you're bringing here.
Come on.
To the people.
Everybody wants to hear from a goalie, right? Or maybe nobody does.
Of course they do. Most important guy on the ice.
I've been a fan of Cam's game for a long time, even dating back to high school at Chanhassen. He's a stud. I love the way he carries himself. He's got a little bit of cockiness to him. He's a big game goaltender, and I think for the U.S. that's never a bad thing to have back there.
Yeah, he helped Chaska, of course, to their first ever state tournament appearance. That was a great moment for that town to finally get their high school to the XL Energy Center for the state tournament. And for those watching not from Minnesota, you need to come and check it out. If you're a true hockey fan, and if you're watching this, you are a true hockey fan and wanting to see the future of the game, well, you can go there and see a lot of future NHLers that participate in the Minnesota State Boys Hockey Tournament in March at the X in front of 19,000 people every session.
We're spoiled here in Minnesota. I think I feel fortunate for my hockey career, but I still think playing at the X was the coolest moment ever.
Here's Osborne, gets it through, and the save. Kirkala at the last second fought it off. But that's what the danger of what Osborne can do. He waited so long before he let that shot fly.
That defender was right in his face, and his ability to find space to get that off was unbelievable.
That's a note that I think will be in Bob Motzko's Trapper. Like, yeah, you know what? That could be somebody we could like to see on the blue line.
Well, and just from the game standpoint, that was a heck of a save there by Kirkola, who's in the second period has made some big saves. Obviously, the McKinney goal was really good, but U.S. definitely applying some pressure here.
U.S. now with 13 shots on goal, so they went from 2 in the first period to 11 in a half a period. And they're back looking for more, but getting knocked down. So puck goes to the corner. Bednarik had that opportunity. Now in on the forecheck is Bednarik. But Finns are able, though, to get out to the center red line before the U.S. takes it right back. Epperson, nice move to get away from his man. Comes across the line, goes wide. Sharp angle shot, hit the outside of the net. Epperson chasing it back near the blue line, but it's poked away from him. And it seems like they've decided to shoot high on Kirkola. We've seen a lot of guys trying to buzz the tower here.
Yeah, just with how his stance and the way that he plays, he's very forward on his toes. He's head over feet, and I think he's very quick to get to his post, which definitely opens up the upper top of the net. And so I think for the U.S., just shooting from any angle, I think will create some chances just because he's in such a blocking position.
The puck out at center.
Really good hold there by Skahan.
Yeah, he's been good these first 2 games. Now back in Conley, beautiful feed shot, and it's saved there. Kirkola comes up with a huge save on Kevan rather, who walked right down Broadway. Kevan with a great chance there, but couldn't get it to go. The Arizona State commit. Now Brushevitz lets it fly right on, and this is a completely different team than we saw for the first 20 minutes of play.
Pretty amazing first 10 minutes. Look off the rush. What a pass there by Kevan, and off the bar.
Oh,
off
he
the
did
post.
get it.
Really nice play off the rush. And this is a sneaky little shot here by Henry Brushevitz. Nice save. Yeah, the U.S. maybe just an extra cup of coffee here. We're not used to playing at 1 in the afternoon. A lot of college and junior players are 7 o'clock games, so it's good to see the U.S. respond. And yeah, Finland's going to have to kind of go back to the drawing board here and try to create some more offense.
The U.S. changing goaltenders as we're at the halfway point of the hockey game, and now taking over between the pipes is Jack Parsons from Cortland, New York. Played with the Chicago Steel last year. Is headed to Providence College this fall. 2 years at the National Team Development Program. Stopped 19 of 20 last night against Sweden. So he was rock solid between the pipes for Team USA.
He had a really big year in a young Chicago team where I think every night those goalies are seeing 30, 40, 50 shots. And, just for him to be able to put up the numbers he did given that, situation. And last night obviously showed his development. That extra year out of the development program for a goalie is so crucial. Just you can never go to college too late as a goalie. And, I think for him it's really paid off for him.
Yeah, his numbers were pretty good in Chicago. But as you said, it was a tough situation, right? The Steel going through some things. His saves percentage was still over 90%, even though he gave up a little over 3 goals per game.
Yeah,
so that means he saw a lot of shots.
If you're keeping it above a 9 and you're in the 3.5 goals against, that's usually a goaltender that's giving you a chance to win every night on a team that has given up a lot of opportunities.
All right, so we'll see. Here's his first save attempt, but the shot never got through, and the U.S. comes back quickly the other way. And they flag him on the offside. It looked like he held up at the line to John Whipple, but the linesman saw it differently. And so the faceoff will come back out in the neutral zone.
I think Connolly's been really good here in this second period. I think that was the one time where he normally has been just going straight north, a lot of pace. He was kind of indecisive with the puck, and, Whipple trying to slow down, trying to decide what he was going to do. But, I love the way the U.S. has been playing. They're playing north, they're playing fast, they're making quick decisions, and they're getting pucks to net. So if we can keep this up, I like the U.S. chances.
Connolly, one of the veterans from last year's team, won gold and was picked 19th overall by Vegas, and he's signed with the Golden Knights already, and now he's with their AHL team in Henderson. coming up this season?
Probably from a statistical standpoint, maybe a year that maybe Trevor wasn't super excited about in Providence, but the way Providence plays, how hard they are on the forecheck, back check, they're a really tough team to play against. And so I think for him, just that year of development, he was almost ready to be a pro when he was in the USHL at Tri-City, so it doesn't shock me.
Right, because he ripped it up at Tri-City. He was fantastic there, and then at Providence, for whatever reason, he only ended up with 4 goals. And so it looked like it just wasn't a fit for him. And Vegas sees a high draft pick like that. A lot of times the NHL teams sometimes think they can do it better. Not all the time, but they do think that. And when you invest that much in a player, making him a first rounder, you'll want to get him with your staff as quick as possible.
Yeah, I think it'd be the really hard thing for high draft picks when it comes to college. Like we talked about before the game, how high draft picks that maybe not have as much success early on in college, where, right when they're starting to kind of find their stride is when they end up making the jump to pro. And I think for kids, you can go both ways on it, get into pro as fast as possible, but rarely ever do you see a kid stay in college too long.
Well, and then the other thing that the NHL teams are worried about, I do like the fact that you can draft players and they can still go to college. Unlike where football you have to leave, basketball you have to leave. They don't give you that free time where he's part of your organization, but you don't even have to pay him yet. So if I was a GM, I'd try to load up on as many guys like that. But then you have that quirk in the system where if they stay, 3 years?
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they're a free agent. So teams are nervous, and a lot of times they'll have to go fish their draft picks out. I wonder how often that plays into a decision into bringing somebody in as opposed to letting them cook at the college level.
Well, you saw it this year with Isaac Howard, right? It kind of came out a little slow out of the gates at UMD, and then goes to Michigan State, wins the Hobie Baker, and just finished his 3rd year of college, and Tampa wasn't ready to sign him. He felt he was ready to play pro hockey and trade later, and now he's with the Edmonton Oilers. And I think for a while there, the Michigan State staff was pretty excited to have the Hobie Baker winner back. But like you said, it can get a little goofy the longer they do stay in college as a draft pick. That better opportunities open up.
I'm surprised that loophole is still there. I can't believe it hasn't been closed off in the CBA.
I could see that coming now with the CHL, that I think it's a great opportunity for players to go play college hockey. They develop, get stronger, play against really good competition. And I could 100% see an adjustment to that because, kids are going to be going to college a year, play that extra year in the WHL, that extra year in the USHL. And, yeah, you don't want to lose your draft picks, especially those high ones, right?
Well, Koivu picks up a hooking penalty here. So the United States, with all the momentum here in this period, now gets an opportunity to take their first lead of the afternoon. So Koivu goes for hooking. And right there in the center zone.
Yeah,
good call.
Pretty blatant call there. U.S. going with 4 forwards here. Will Zeller scored 44 goals this year in the USHL. I'd like to see him kind of, show that stick and, get the U.S. up 2-1 here.
Osborne, the lone defenseman, mishandled down low, cost the U.S., and it allows the Finns a clear. Now, Kevon gets across the line, but then it's blocked. And great play by Osborne to knock that puck away and not take a penalty, as he was in real trouble there, but was able to salvage it. Conley now gets it in. Zellers, top of the circle, tied up, gives it to Osborne. He'll come back to the near side to Zellers. Wrist shot, knocked down, and it's pushed back out just over the blue line to center. 1:05 to go on the power play. U.S. looking to take their first lead of the afternoon. Conley comes in, fires it across. Quick shot, didn't get through, as Bednarik had it blocked. And then the rebound pitchforked all the way down.
I'd like to see the U.S. set up a little more. I didn't like the decision there by Zellers. Flat-footed, top of the blue line, almost just throwing a puck into a body. There's too much talent on this team to get selfish there and just shoot a shot. We can definitely make a few more plays.
Zellers now gives to Epperson. He'll wrap it around to the far side. Kivuhari, number 3, ties up his man in the corner. U.S. works it free, back to the blue line. Here's Mooney, walks in, still with it. Now curls back, brings it to the blue line to Harrington. Mooney again walks in, tries to go across the box. Pass was deflected. One-timer, blocked. Big block there by Higuhari. McKinney on the far side. Koivu out of the box. And the Finns are back at full strength. Better structure with the second unit.
For sure. I love LJ Mooney there. He came downhill. There wasn't a great look. Peeled back around, got a better look. Obviously, great play there by the Finnish PK.
Quick shot by Mo right on. As Kirkala came across to make the save. Now Kettinen walking in, fires, rings the post, gets his own rebound. He's denied by Parsons on the second chance. He had him beat, put it off the post, but it stayed out. Or as you goaltenders say, I planed it that way. That's all I gave him, right?
That's not an easy situation for Parsons to go into there right at the half, and it's a 2-on-1 with the guy shooting from the hash marks. But way to reestablish his Bether on the rebound, and got away with one there.
Backhand pass just missed Mo, or he may have been in home free. Mo on the forecheck, but the Finns are able to send it down. Brushevitz plays it around to the near corner, and the U.S. takes over. Long pass, knocks Spellacy down. Zeller's after it. He's quickly covered, taken to the corner. And the Finns will take control and come out to center. Yoki's pass, hit a leg. Nukala lost it, gets it back. Brushevitz, plays it ahead. Park in the corner, tied up there. Spellacy trying to get it to Zellers, hops his stick. And now the Finns come back the other way. Pikahari gets it towards the net, and Parsons covers and holds, and now we get some pushing and shoving here. And we'll see what comes of this. If the officials that have had a tight grip on this game sit anybody down or not.
I thought Max Westergaard for Finland has been really, really good. He's been all around the net. Oh, look at this play here by Parsons. Little post, good rebound control, getting back to it. No, I think Finland here, they've kind of been on their heels a bit in the second period, but Max Westergaard, 5th rounder to the Flyers, playing actually in Sweden instead of Finland, but, really good player. He's been all around the net. He's kind of causing havoc there and around the net there, kind of throwing some punches after the whistle. I kind of like that.
2:39 left to go in the second period. Shots 15-13, now in favor of the United States. U.S. attacking again. Shot goes wide by Kevon.
Yeah, Kevon, just a walking scoring chance. If you watch in the last 2 years in Des Moines, 100 points the last 2 years, and every time he's on the ice, he just finds a way to get something to the net, and here he is again.
Kevon across the line. Nice move to shake the defender, but then his shot was blocked and deflects harmlessly to the corner. 2 minutes left in the second period. All even at 1. The lone goal coming from the U.S. as Cole McKinney tied it up at 3:55 of this period. Brushevitz and Park get the assists. Long shot by Sari. Turned away by Parsons. Centering feed doesn't get through. And the U.S. just flips it all the way down to take the pressure off.
Yeah, I think Finland would be happy just getting out of this period with how well the U.S. played. And, the U.S. keeps trying to find ways to create some scoring chances. But whenever they've gotten cute in the neutral zone, it's really Finland's done a great job of kind of shoving it right down their throat.
Now Epperson tries to backhand one to the point, but that got knocked down. And the Finns come back. Kalto trying to kick it out front, take it away from him. Just the way the U.S. is now attacking. I mean, you were talking about that in the first period, the passes in the neutral zone and not being north-south. We've seen that change here in the second period.
Yeah, I think there is a feeling out period, right? It's not like you can go back and watch a bunch of video of how these guys play. It's kind of a new group almost every year. Obviously, you have summer turners, but I thought the U.S. adjusted well, and I think they just kind of took it to them with pace and playing north-south, and obviously the scoreboard's 1-1. But I thought that was a great period by the U.S.
One last chance here, perhaps, for the Finns as they attack. Tuva shot is blocked, and the rebound cleared to the point. Another wrist shot. Parsons the blocker save. And now the U.S. will get it out to center. 5 seconds left. And Zellers just sends it all the way down. And that will do it for the second period of play. Finland gets a goal in the first. And the U.S. comes back with one here in the second period. Shots in the second period. The Finns had 7 for a two-period total of 15. Well, the U.S. had 14 shots on goal for a two-period total of 16. So doubling up the shots the United States did in that second period.
Yeah, they did a really good job, too, of stopping that top line of Finland with Vesterainen, Ronen, and Koivu. They, in the first period, they were kind of generating a ton of looks and puck possession, where I think the U.S. that period felt like we had a puck a lot of time, and got to be happy for the U.S. going into that second intermission.
Penalties in the hockey game. The United States has taken 3 as we look at that tying goal here. And again, Cole McKinney just looked like he really didn't have much to shoot at, but he was able to find a hole on Kirkala and bury it.
Yeah, the Finnish goaltender, especially below the dots, is in a really, stiff blocking position, and it was kind of a good look by McCain just to kind of throw one far side, and yeah, might have caught him sleeping a little bit on that one.
So the U.S., the blue team, trying for their first win of the tournament. Finland also looking for their first win in the showcase. We're all even at a goal apiece through 40 minutes. Penalties. The U.S. has taken 3 minor penalties. Finland cashed in for their 1 power play goal. Meanwhile, the United States 0 for 2 with the extra man through 40 minutes. All right, we are at the intermission. We'll be back with the third period in just a bit. Welcome back to Ritter Arena. The road to gold continuing here with USA Blue and Finland set to start the third period. We are tied at 1 apiece. Packy Bunsen with us as color and former goaltender. And so the pressure now on Mr. Parsons, who came in halfway through the game. How difficult is that? Now, they've taken that out because back in the day, coaches used that as a strategy, switched goaltenders, used it to warm up the goaltender and to buy his team some time, and it was then taken away. So now you just have to skate out there and go.
I think it helps mentally when you know you're going in. I think it's always a little more challenging when you're just sitting there and on the bench and 3 minutes into the game you get thrown in you weren't prepared for, but you know, both these kids are pros, and you know, Parsons came in right away, had that chance against, hit the post, which always is a good feeling to get away with one, and you know, I think he'll settle in now. The first shot always helps, right? If nice easy one in the stomach, he can kind of settle in after that.
All right, here we go. Penalty boxes are empty. Shots through 2 periods of play. 16-15 in favor of the United States after the U.S. had only 2 shots in the entire first period, and then peppered the Finnish netminder with 14 shots. But Kirkala only let 1 by, and that's where we at now. Koivu gets spilled in the corner, looking perhaps for a penalty, but none being called after the officials were very aggressive on the whistles in the opening period.
Yeah, kind of an interesting start for the referees, but definitely kind of letting the boys play a little bit more and hopefully letting 5-on-5 decide this one.
Osborne just had to make a last-second move at the blue line, threw a teammate offside. I wonder, in this kind of event, in a showcase event like this, do you think the coaches say, hey, we want to see our guys play here? We're not here to see you guys? I mean, you know, it's kind of that kind of event. I wonder if they have that kind of influence or if they want them to call it as tight as what they'll run into when the games are overseen by the IIHF.
I think they always just want consistency, right? If you're gonna have a quick whistle as a referee, that's fine. At least we know. But if you're gonna let some things go and then suddenly you're calling some ticky-tack stuff, that can be tough. And from the coaching staff, I think it's kind of interesting, right? You want to win this game, but you're also trying to evaluate at the same time. Where it'll be interesting here at the end of the game which team decides to go for the win.
Bednarik saw he had that pass picked off, but took his head up to look what he could do with it, and it slipped right underneath him and goes back out to the neutral zone. Could have been a good chance for the U.S. there on that near turnover by the Finns, who have been pretty airtight in their own zone. We haven't seen them coughing up a lot of stray pucks.
Honestly, a lot of their decision-making seems to be pretty, I guess, more simple if it's glassing out and more chasing pucks in neutral zone, but I think their willingness to block shots is what's been the hardest part for the U.S. They can't get a ton through from the point.
Yeah, the only one that really we saw do that was Osborne when he walked that blue line and then finally got one through to the net.
Took a heroic effort.
Now in the corner, trying to work it free, but instead it's cleared around, not out. Trying to work it out front. Finns intercept, and they'll come back. Yoki drops it back. Shot hit a leg as Picanarin let it go. And now the U.S. comes right back through center. Picanarin had the elbow out looking for contact, but missed his target. But still the play was broken up at the Finnish blue line.
Yeah, Finland doing a really good job of clogging that, especially 5-on-5 here. Just really hard for the U.S. to enter, and I think the U.S. kind of trying to make a few too many plays there at the blue line, and luckily we haven't gotten bid on it too hard yet.
Epperson lets it go ahead. Back in. Kevon drops it back. Whipple puts it right on goal. No traffic in front. And the save, an easy one for Kirkala. Now back through center. Finns come across the line. Rossiden, his cross-ice feed is stolen away. And now Epperson picking his way through center, across the line, puts the brakes on, tries to get it to Mo, but a great back check by Koivu to shoulder him off the puck, and he'll start back the other way. Koivu plays it in.
Koivu seems to always be around it. His tenacity on the puck, and especially from the defense to the offensive zone, he just always seems to be around it.
Now in the corner, Emery plays it up the wall, not out. Shot and a goal from a sharp angle. Surprises Parsons and puts it up on the glove side, and Finland has regained the lead.
Well, just as we talked about there at the end of the second, keeping that top line for Finland quiet was kind of a big part of their success in the second period. But what a release here by Roope Vesterainen. That's an NHL release for sure, and pretty tough save there for Parkins to make.
Vesterainen scored yesterday as well.
Yeah, we talked about helping the goalie ease into the game coming off the bench. That's not exactly an easy first save of the period for him. What a shot, though, by Vesterainen.
.346 time of the go-ahead goal. And so now the U.S. fought back to tie this game once. They'll have to try it again. Delayed penalty coming up on Finland. And they touch the puck in the corner, and so we get the whistle and the call. And so the United States with a power play here after the hooking call. And a big opportunity here as Rasanen gets the gate.
Yeah, big opportunity here for the U.S. team to kind of get back on track. Gosh, I don't know. It felt like a pretty clean stick lift there by Finland, but we'll get to the power play, and hopefully the U.S. can kind of start generating some better grade A opportunities than, kind of the forced opportunities they've had last time.
Their third chance on the power play, and they score! And Osborne has a hand in it as he let the shot go, and it was tipped in front. And just like that, just 6 seconds, and the United States counters and has tied it as Kamil Bednarik got a stick on that shot from Osborne.
Hard not to compliment Osborne right there. Right away off the power play, ready to fend off the pressure and attack, come downhill, and good job by Bednarik getting to the front of the net with a really good tip, and just like that, we're back 2-2. Osborne's been really good tonight. I thought it is both ends of the ice. He's killing plays defensively, but also offensively, really being a threat every time he has the puck.
So Osborne will get one assist. And he gets the lone assist, so 4:28 time of the goal, so the U.S. answers less than a minute later, and we're deadlocked once again, now at 2. Tuva gets it ahead. Sorry, puts it in front. Pass is broken up as he tried to set up Saaralainen, who was driving to the front of the net. Now McKinney across the line. Drops it back. Shot didn't get through. Big block in front there. Akivu Hari, who went down and knocked it down. Now Saaralainen on the backhand goes to the net. But Parsons holds his ground and makes the save. And he'll take the draw in the defensive zone with 14:37 left in regulation.
One thing I thought the USD did a really good job of in the second period was they were making sure that they had to earn that offensive blue line. And right there, it's a 1-on-2. You'd like to see the USD gap up, maybe forward angle, try and kill that play. But, great effort there by the Finnish forward to get to the net there on a 1-on-2.
Off the face-off. Puck controlled by the U.S. And they'll float it out to center. Spellacy takes it to the corner, shoved off the puck. And the Finns are able to roll it out to center. U.S., though, comes right back in. Long shot. Steered away to the corner. U.S. also started to use the body on this forecheck as well. Finns, though, break it. Westergaard driving to the net, cuts right in front, goes right through the blue, trying to slip it through the pads of Parsons, but he's got it tied up. Now we get pushing and shoving, and the linesmen will have their work cut out here as there's a lot of bodies involved in this.
Kind of hope that could be a moment for Parsons to kind of settle in here. That's a big save and a big moment here early in the third period. And Max Westergaard, again, just always around the net, driving far post, really noticeable in the forecheck. He's a really strong player here for the Finnish team.
And looks like they're not taking anyone out of that cross-check fest.
So we caught a lot of stick stuff, but I guess punches after the whistle, we can let those go at least.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And of course, every arena has to play. You got to have the right to party when you get those scrums. 2-2 here, 13:45 to go. U.S. attacking. Mooney puts it right in front, trying for Conley on the back door, and that just failed to connect. Mooney is so good at spotting the open man. Centering pass deflected by the U.S. defender, nearly tipped it into his own net, but Parsons was able to scramble back and make the save. Now it's loose in the slot, and not getting the shot away was Rasanen, or he would have had a glorious opportunity. So a couple of chances for the Finns there to get back in front.
You can see the USD activating, especially off that rush. Mooney does a great job possessing, coming all around the D. But the biggest problem is if you have those active D, if you don't get a shot on net, coming back the other way can be, detrimental. And they've been giving up some odd man rushes here early.
But I think that's been part of the key for the U.S. to get some offense right on the doorstep. Koivu, a couple of whacks at it, and Parsons stood tall to make both the saves. And now we get a penalty on Whipple for going after Koivu after the fact. And will it only be Whipple or will it be both? We'll have to see. Whipple for sure. And let's watch the replay and see what happens. But Whipple looked like he took a shot from Koivu before our attention was drawn to him for the retaliation.
Yeah, it seemed just like a kind of harmless battle out front. Whipple kind of took a shot there behind the net, and then, again, Koivu's kind of been...
And it keeps going. You got to keep it going. And right there, he comes from behind with the cross check and knocks him down.
Yeah, tough penalty there.
And so the Finns go to the power play for the fourth time today. 1 for 3 is Finland with the extra man. Now Cross trying to set up Koivu. That's how they got their first and only power play goal, was that Koivu one-timer on the weak side. That time it was defended well. Now Tuva slips it down low. Ruhonen puts it in front. Knocked down by Kleber, and he gets the clear.
You can see a little bit different style here from Parsons compared to Cam. Cam's a little more active, relies on athleticism, where Parsons is so square to the puck. He's 6'4", kind of lets the puck in the game come to him a little bit more than being so active.
Koivu brings it back in, drops it off at the far blue line. They fight to keep it alive, and it's played around to the near side. U.S. gets to it first, but can't control it cleanly. And now Uvihari with it. Back at the near point, Tuva walking in. Uvihari, Koivu, one-timer, partially blocked, deflects wide. Tuva, Uvihari, throws it towards the net, wide of the target, rebound cleared.
It's a good job by the U.S. penalty kill, keeping John Parsons in a position where he's going to make saves that he sees the puck and not letting those seam passes go through.
30 seconds now left to go on this penalty to Whipple. Rasanen feeds rink wide. Westergaard throws it in front. Behind, blackhand pass is picked off, and the U.S. gets the clear again.
Rassinen's been really noticeable here in this third period. He's played with the puck on his stick a lot. He's made some really good plays off the rush, and for a big guy, he's got a lot of skill.
Now driving to the net, backhander. Parsons slides across and makes the save as Rassinen again was leading the offensive charge for Finland.
Yeah, that big of a body to be able to handle the puck like he does, getting around that U.S. defense with his pace, pretty special. You can see here just toe drag back to the forehand, backhand. Good save by Parsons there, not chasing that one too much, kind of letting it just come to him.
4 seconds left on this power play. Whipple already standing in the box, hoping that his team can get out of this, and they did, as he is now back on the ice. So Finland 1 for 4 with the extra man, and 1 for 6 at killing penalties in the 2 games they have played to this point. Now long drive, ripped wide of the cage as Harrington let it fly from that farm point. Now Everson trying to get free on his backhand, lost it, retrieves it, centers it, pinballs around. Mo on the backside takes a shot, and then he takes a couple of shots from Yoki before the linesmen arrive and separate them.
You can definitely see that the Finnish team has made an adjustment here. Last period, U.S. kind of around the net a little too much, and even on the goal today in that third period with the tip. But you can see here they're not letting anybody near Kurkola, and let Kurkola make saves and track the puck easily there. Good save.
Finland now has regained the advantage in shots, 23-20. So they've had 8 shots in this period. In the United States, just 4 to this point. Off the draw, U.S. controls. Kleber carrying down low. Brings it back to the point. Long shot deflected. And Kurkola made the save, staying with that one, as Bednarik was looking for his second of the afternoon. Kleber hammers it right back in. Finns have to retreat. Jokinen clears it up the near side. Just got it away from McKinney. And now the U.S. takes over deep in their own territory. Mooney coming up the near side, gives to Conley. He'll gain the blue line, but the U.S. making changes, and that allows Finland an easy exit from their own zone. It's chipped ahead. Newman driving to the net, taken down, follow-up shot right on. And the save was made by Parsons, and he'll hold for the faceoff.
U.S. kind of getting away from what made them successful in that second period. Their rush decisions, turning the puck over there by Connolly, and now, again, good defensive kill there, but the puck squirts out, and kind of a really good look there by Finland, and good job by Parsons to be square and ready for it.
Now 4 players kind of followed the puck and went for a, thought it was going to the corner, and it popped out and was right in the slot. But Parsons came up with the save there.
Kind of a different feel this period than the first two. It felt like Finland right away was obviously all over them, and U.S. bounced back in the second. Now it's kind of been a little more run and gun, I feel like. Not so much sitting back, more teams kind of trying to create more offense, and we'll see how the U.S. adjusts here, if they can get back to doing the things that made them successful in the second period.
You're looking at McKinney's goal there that tied this 1-1, and then Finland taking the lead. Vesterainen, and then here's that goal. Osborne doing a great job taking it from the far point down, or near point, over to the far side, walked on the boards, and then let the shot go that Bednarik got a stick on. Off the face-off, puck sent down ice. U.S. Zellers after it, couldn't come up with it cleanly. And Yukihari puts it in behind his own net to Koivu. Tries to go rink wide, but hit a teammate. It deflects down the ice. They waive the icing, and so the U.S. has to retrieve. Finns, though, force the turnover. Park scoops it up, and he'll start back. Coming through center. Park drops it off. McKinney back to the corner. Park tried to spin free. Zellers takes the man down. He's going to go. He got the hook in there. And so the U.S. will be shorthanded for the 5th time here as Will Zellers gets the gate.
I think A2 Koivu has been on the other end of those penalties about 4 times now. And I got to give him credit. If you're in the mix and you have the puck on your stick and guys are trying to take you down, you're going to get those calls. And instead, you'd like to see the U.S. kind of start to possess the puck below the dots instead of those turnovers that are killing them right now.
And even though the U.S. has killed 4 or 5, you're asking a lot here. Late stages of the game to have to try to kill again. Long shot, blocked up high by Kevon and goes over the glass. And so we'll have a face-off again in the U.S. zone.
Yeah, no matter how good your penalty kill is, it's kind of a war of attrition, right? You can only give them so many chances. But we'll see how the USA does here.
Second power play unit out for Finland to start this one. Short-handed chance. Kevon elects to burn some clock. Skates back in the neutral zone. Tried to shoot it all the way down, but it's knocked down. Instead, the Finns come back. Saralainen brought it in the zone. Now across to the near side. Rossen, again, who has been a force here in this game this afternoon, gets that opportunity, but Parsons gobbles it up with the glove.
Kind of back and forth there with Kevon. A couple of really good plays. I know he had the right opportunity and right play in mind there, but just a couple bad bounces on the clears and kind of resulted in a pretty good chance again. Another really good save here by Parsons.
Face-off win by McKinney. But the Finns come up with it. Rocket by Koivu goes high off the glass. Tuva with it. Uvihari. Koivu. Uvihari back to Koivu. Walking in. Takes the shot and scores! Koivu, his second of the afternoon. His second power play goal. And Finland back in front again, this time 3-2.
Yeah, it's hard not to notice the impact Koivu makes all over the ice. Shooting threat on the power play, willing to kind of cut back to the middle and make plays. And, you know, right here, U.S. doing a pretty good job on the PK, kind of keeping things to the outside. But just a really sneaky release here by Koivu. I think it's redirected by Cleaver. And just like that, the U.S. is going to be chasing it again a little bit.
So now 7:24 left. The U.S. has been chasing all day. They've been down by 1. They've been down 2-1. And now they're down 3-2. And we'll see if they could come back here. But that penalty by Zellers deep in the offensive zone puts the U.S. behind the 8 ball here. I always wondered why it was bad to be behind the 8 ball. I've never figured out why that was.
Yeah, wouldn't that mean you're about to win? Isn't that kind of the, am I wrong there?
Maybe. Well, no, you're about to lose, right? Because you're behind the 8 ball. It's not an advantageous situation, I guess. I don't know.
I guess. I
mean, it sets up in the middle when you rack it at the start of the game. So I don't know what that would be. Well, someone will let me know that's much wiser. 6:35 to go. Finland now with the lead. So assuming the forecheck will be not as aggressive by Finland here.
To your point earlier about high leverage situations, a great opportunity for these guys and for Coach Motzko and their staff to evaluate these guys down a goal late in the game. These are situations that you got to thrive in when you're over in these short tournaments. You're going to be in these, you know, do or die spots, and it's good to see which guys step up and which guys, you know, just kind of fail to reach it.
And for those watching at home, and when we've shown you shots of the U.S. bench, you don't see Motzko there. He's been watching from up above. He did that yesterday, both games. Watching from the press level here. And it looks like he'll be doing that for both games again today. Trying to see how the players look from this vantage. It'd be kind of interesting, you know. I don't know how I would handle that if I have to make the evaluations. Obviously, you know the players well, but you pick up a lot. Maybe, I don't know if you'd have it like an assistant run the game, but you're on the bench just kind of observing. I don't know what that would be like, but I'm sure he gets feedback from all his assistants. Steve Miller and Garrett Raboyne have great rapport with him, and Coach Brown. One of the other assistants all have a long history with Bob, so I'm sure if anything, interactions on the bench that he should know or the staff should be concerned with, I'm sure he'll hear about it. Here's a quick shot right out front, deflects wide, because you hear that from coaches all the time. The worst place to watch a game is from the bench.
For sure, and having a little bit of coaching experience, I think when you're down there, you're in the thick of it of trying to win the game, and it's hard to evaluate from down there. And you know, having the guys like Greg Brown, Steve Miller, the guys that have been to the World Juniors and know what it takes, I think it's kind of a nice asset for Bob to be able to kind of stay up top and really see the whole picture.
Now Kleber stepping up. Carries to the corner. Tied up there, and Uvihari takes over for Finland. Under 5 to go here. Long pass. Carrying it in deep. Hooking in. Tied up along the near ball. He's just happy to burn some clock time there. Yoki in to work it free, but the U.S. takes over. Now Kleber on the far side. U.S. pulling the goaltender here with 4:22 to go. Extra man on for the United States. They have the offensive zone. Osborne out there at the point. They get it to him. Takes the shot, and it's deflected. Took a little too long to get it away. And now we get a whistle and a penalty here. Holding is the call. And so the gamble of pulling the goaltender and putting the pressure on Finland pays off as they get the power play with 4:06 left.
This power play unit, especially in the last two periods, has really shown a lot and a sense of finding the right play and getting, you know, making the goalie work a little bit to make sure he sees the puck. And it'll be a good high leverage situation for these guys. 4 forwards here. Osborne up top.
Osborne and Mooney are the two guys you want with that puck right now. And Osborne gets it at the blue line. Conley covered quickly, gives to Osborne, now to Mooney, back to Osborne, walking in, over to Conley. Tries to go back the other way, and it deflects off a skate down the ice. 3:45 left. $1:40 on the power play. Osborne looked back, lost the puck, and the Finns were able to force a hand pass by the United States, so that'll bring the faceoff all the way back down into the U.S. zone.
Hard to fault Connolly there. Really good setup there by Mooney and Osborne to get Connolly coming downhill time and space, and the play was there to Mooney, just unfortunately hit a skate. You want shots on net there, huh? You want to throw some on Kirkola. I understand that.
Shots 26-21 in favor of Finland. So the Finns with 11 shots on goal in this period. And the U.S. only with 5 to this point. Big hit in the corner, and there's a U.S. player down and slow to get back up. He really got flattened, and now we've got players coming together. So the U.S. obviously not happy with that hit. And I did not see it. I was looking away, and we'll have to see what we get here penalty-wise, but still the U.S. player down in that far corner.
Yeah, Connolly had the puck coming around the net with a lot of speed, and you know the Finnish player kind of met him at the wall with his speed coming in, and these boards aren't super forgiving, and as you can see here, as he comes around the net, he's getting pressure from the Finnish defender, and Seven comes in pretty hard, and kind of a dirty hit there. A little bit of a knee on knee, slew foot a little bit.
So we'll see. There is one Finnish player in the box, but that may be for the altercation after the fact. We'll have to see how they call this. Daniel Nieminen was the player that threw the hit. Conley is up, but he is not putting any weight on that right leg as he's being helped right to the dressing room. Conley has been a big part of this USA Blue squad.
Yeah, you definitely feel for him. I felt like his impact has been really good all over the ice today. And obviously in this setting, you're not going to try and fight through an injury like that. You just want to make sure you're healthy. And, he's, again, first-round pick. He's shown a lot here in the last couple days. So just hoping he's healthy enough to kind of keep going here this week.
Yeah, boy, he's really not putting any pressure on that. Wants the training staff to help him as much they can. And here's another look at it. You can see that knee getting caught. And as we said, he's the 19th overall pick by the Vegas Golden Knights. And he picked up an assist yesterday against Sweden.
Kind of an interesting decision by the refs here to let that go all game. And then now as U.S. is on the power play to even it up on, kind of defending your players. Kind of interesting play there.
Yeah, so we are 4-on-4 now. Mooney races in, comes up with it. Great move, sifts it ahead. But the shot was blocked as Bednarik couldn't get it through. And so now we're 4-on-4 hockey. Not sure for how long because they have 2 penalties running on the clock. So interesting. What happened to the power play though?
They only called a penalty on the U.S. They didn't call a penalty on Finland. That guy was already in the puck.
But the clocks shouldn't be synced, right? Because there was a power play already, so there should have been a different time up there. So we got some issues with the clock, but all we know is we're now to 2 minutes left, and both teams are at full strength. So 5-on-5 hockey here as we're now under 2 minutes to go, and we'll have to watch for Parsons. He'll probably get the hook here when the United States can gain control, but U.S. changing up players, and the Finns slow to attack. The clock is on their side. Koivu with 2 on the day. Gets across the line, plays it in, chases it, pushes it to the near corner, and now Mo in the corner. U.S., though, gives it right back to the Finns. Uvihari walking in, fires the shot. Parsons, the blocks are saved. U.S. now back at full strength. Don't know how that all occurred, but.
Well, and Team Finland gets away with him there. The guy coming out of the box still had a foot in the box. It is illegal for him to touch, so kind of a bad couple bounces there for the U.S.
And the officials. That was not run right, but we're now down to the final minute. Finns still in possession, so Parsons has to stay in the net. U.S. needs control of the puck. Yoki takes it in deep. Now he'll throw it in behind. Finns just happy to maintain possession here. Trying to get their first win here in the showcase. They lost yesterday 5-2 to USA White, but now here they have a 1-goal lead on blue. Rushevitz charges in. Parsons goes to the bench. Extra attacker on. Osborne trying to keep it in the zone. Can't. Zellers now with it. Fires it in from there. Mo to the corner. Tied up there. Centering pass on the wrong side of Zellers. 2 seconds left, and that will do it. Finland gets their first win of the Summer Showcase, 3-2 over USA Blue. And it was an interesting game all the way around. Penalties, I guess, were the big concern for the U.S. They took 5 penalties, and the Finns were able to cash in twice. with Koivu getting a pair of power play goals, and that was the difference.
This hockey's so tight. If you give too many of these teams too many power plays, they're going to make it pay for it. And I thought some guys in the U.S. team, I thought Connolly had a really good game. I thought Osborne and Kleber really, showed well. But I think some of the forward group in that USA team will probably be a little disappointed of kind of not showing what they can do.
No doubt about it. And again, they going with 3 lines and just a spare forward. So when you get to the end of the game and you really got to dig deep, you need a 40-second breather. You may not get it because of the rotation of the lines. And so we'll see. But again, these are for evaluation. That's what these are set up for. Obviously, the coaching staff knows the numbers, knows that they're going with 3 lines. And so they're trying to figure out just what they have here and evaluate these players, not on the result of the game, but the results of their shifts.
Yeah, and I think there's a ton of factors, right? Obviously, you want to win the game, but like you said, the situations you guys are in, playing on the power play, playing on the PK. Finland is such a hard team to compete against for 60 minutes with their physicality and just the way they're, able to clog up the neutral zone and force you to play below the dots. And they're physical and they play a really tough brand of hockey. And so for 3 lines, it's, it doesn't get easier as the week goes on, that's for sure.
All right, we got another game still to come your way today. It'll be USA White versus Sweden. And that should be very entertaining. Sweden is a dynamic team. They really like to move the puck as much as possible and to get their offense in gear. We saw that yesterday as you look at the goals of this one. And Mr. Koivu, so would you like to pick a player of the game? Would you like to pick one for each club? They always like to do that in international play.
Yeah, it's pretty hard not to give it to Koivu, right? Really all over the ice, really hard.
Unanimous decision.
Yeah, that was an easy one. I think, like I said, I really enjoyed Kleber. I thought Mooney got better as the day got on. Connolly really unfortunate to get hurt at the end, but I thought Osborne was our best player tonight. Every time he had the puck in the offensive zone, he was creating something, and his skating and his aggressiveness was really noticeable today.
All right, well, it was a pleasure. Nice job.
I appreciate
Game 1
it, sir.
of your color commentary career is now in the books. And it's a good one. Packy Munson gets it done. The former Centennial goaltender, Vermont Catabout. And so your new role now, do you want to throw that out there of what you do nowadays, or is it still a work in progress?
No, I definitely just kind of in the repping hockey player side of things now. I think I was lucky to have a kind of a long, cool career, and now being able to represent players and give back has been kind of a fun thing for me now to do and stay involved in the game.
It is. I mean, once you're in it, you want to stay in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it is a hard world to navigate now for players, things that no one ever dreamed would be out there with the NIL, with the money, all the things that are going on in the sport. And so they need a level head sometimes to kind of keep them going in the right direction, and that's what you try to provide.
Yeah, if I can help a kid avoid a few of the mistakes that I made in his career, I think I'll call it a win. But no, it's been great. I love the game of hockey, and there's so many good people in it, and so much going on now in the game of hockey. To be able to give back is great.
All right, we'll be back with Game 2. That starts at 4:30. That'll be USA White versus versus Sweden. The final here in this one, 3-2. Finland wins their first. USA Blue still looking for their first win of the Summer Showcase, but they certainly put in a heck of an effort here this afternoon, but they come up just a goal short. That'll do it for us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here at 4:30.